guys, this is Lo again from the Polish Edge and OGM. So I'm out here again today in Bukit Kiara, and I took this trail down the center of the hill, and I was like, you know what, might as well do the video here. What video, you might ask? A review on the long-awaited Lionsteel T5 in black wash. I got this knife about 4 months ago. Yeah, thereabouts, about 4 months ago, and I've been using it a lot. So I don't have the factory grind on this anymore. I've got some videos of me actually stabbing a tin can with it. I think maybe cutting up some food. There's definitely one of me hacking into a bone while we were at Beard Brothers, just to test the knife out. And but it was never really a good full review, which is what today's gonna be about. There's some monkeys around here. Oh well, anyway, we're kind of in the jungle anyway. So let's talk a little bit about the knife. This is in Lionsteel, which is a German steel by Leumann. Might be pronouncing it wrong because it's supposed to be German. The working hardness can reach up to 63, but this is about 58 to 59. So it's a little bit on the softer side, which means that it's going to be a little bit tougher. Right, which means we can wail on it a little bit more, and it's more likely to survive. Now this is ingoted steel, it's not PM, but regardless it's still got a very fine grained structure. Now this can be subjective, but I look at this as if it were a low alloy steel. Now it's not technically stainless. It's got 12.8% chromium before heat treat. So after heat treat, whatever's left in solution, I would think would be about 12%-ish, give or take. I might be wrong, but I think it's about there. But the fact remains that it is below 14 or 13% chromium, depending on who you ask, which makes it stainless. But even so, look, I mean, it's only been up until a couple of weeks ago that I actually took a proper look at a graph for Nylox. And I treated it like a stainless steel the entire time, and it did not rust. Alright, it did not rust at all. I think I left it out the entire day while it was wet, and I saw some staining, but with a bit of stropping, went right away. Okay, so alright, so now we know that it's tough, we know that it's fairly stain resistant, despite not having like 13 or 14% chromium. But one more thing though, let's talk about sharpening Nylox. So Nylox is a very edge stable steel, alright, meaning the edge is less likely to break or chip off or crumble. It's more likely to bend, and that's due to the fact that it's really tough. The difficult part about sharpening Nylox is not the removal of material. The hard part about sharpening Nylox is burr removal. Alright, it takes a little bit more time to do it, but once you get it, you've got a nice, tough, strong edge. I'm talking about a very edge, not just the bevel, but a very edge as well. So you've got very high edge stability on the steel like this, fairly high, right? Especially for something that's as stainless as this. Okay, so that for me was the only challenge when sharpening this guy. It took me a little bit more time and a little bit more concentration and effort in order to remove the burr on Nylox. Other than that, sharpening it was fairly easy. Refinement took a little bit more time. Going up the grits took a little bit more time, but removing of steel actually isn't hard. So another thing I want to talk about Nylox is this. As in one of my previous videos, you can hack at it, and if it kind of deforms or it loses its very apex, its very edge, all you have to do is strop it up and you'll get the edge right back. Especially if you're stropping, because you're stropping in a trailing edge motion, so the edge comes right back. Now, if you had a little bit of a ding and you did a leading edge pass on a stone, you might cause that part which did not have to be sheared off to shear off, in which case you couldn't repair it anymore, which actually happened to me before I sharpened it the first time round. So in the future, all you do is just you do trailing edge passes on a stone just to bring the edge alignment back. Again, I'm not talking about burr alignment, I'm talking about the very edge alignment. Alright, so this is a fairly short knife. It's humid as heck here, so I've got this is fairly short knife, so we can't expect you know, heavy chopping. We can't expect it to be able to do any clearing. However, as a companion blade, like talk about this in the future, but a third category blade, something that's always at my waist, especially when I'm camping. Now let's talk about the sheath a little bit. I don't rock the original sheath. Now the original sheath is amazing, alright? It's made from this beautiful Italian leather, because again this guy's made in Maniago, Italy. I love the sheath. The sheath is beautiful. It's a work of art. But in our humid country, I'm not comfortable just using leather sheath or leather in general. The only thing leather I have on me right now are my boots. Okay, so I've actually changed it to this Kydex. Peter from TST Kydex actually made this for me. He does amazing work. He uses the proper thickness of Kydex. He uses American-made eyelets and hardware. So even the Kydex is from the States. Amazing work, and he does it actually fairly fast. I know some makers can take up to months. This guy, now don't take, you know, your mileage may vary, okay, because it was a bit different for me. I went to him and he got it done on the same day for me, and another one for a friend because we got it at the same time. But he made it within a day for me. If not, it's for the most part it's gonna be a week. His prices are a little bit pricier, but you know what, you're getting every cent that you're paying for and then some. Okay, if you compare prices with what they charge in the States, it's cheap here, like really cheap. Okay, so it locks in nicely. The setup I've got going here is I've got my torchlight in the front. Okay, because when I go camping, light and knife for me go hand in hand. Okay, got a tack lock in the back here. So I'm just gonna put this aside, and well, let's start trying to chop some like this. Okay. So again, this is not ideal for chopping, but we'll see how it performs. Yeah. Well, that was that did not take any effort at all. It's either because of my muscles, I doubt it, or because of the edge, more likely. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna baton a piece of wood next, and then we'll do some carving. I don't think this is in frame. Now there are already a few videos out on the T5, and there was one which I saw where this guy was batoning like really hard redwood, which looked like it's I think it was in Australia, which looked like it probably is denser than this block of wood here right now. But yep, let's get in the center. Alright, no problem at all. Split this one in half. Alright, so this one's going right down the center. Oops. No problems there. I'm going to baton it through the back this time. I think this this would have been a knot. Oh yeah, that's hard. Alright. Well, it split that no problems. So now what happens is, let me just bring this one up again. What happens is, because of how the blade is shaped, what happens is, as we're batoning, the top of the wood actually reaches up to here, and it starts to wedge after a while. It no longer cuts, it wedges. Kind of like how splitting axes are. So you get a fat top and a thin front. Thin front is for initial penetration. Once you get past that, you're up at the top here, and it starts to wedge the wood apart, saving your edge. That is kind of what we want. So this has a very high saber. It does do it up to a point, but not all the way. Let me see if I can demonstrate that again. Alright, so I wish I could get the video on this, the picture on it, but what you can see, the edge is no longer touching the base of the wood, right? It's no longer touching the bottom. What's happening is the top is actually wedging the wood apart. So your edge is not going to touch the wood, your edge is not going to wear out nearly as fast, because as we're batoning through it, we're actually just using the sides of the knife to push the wood apart. The edge doesn't come into contact with the wood. Alright, it's even more evident here. You can see that there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay, that's what we want. Now, let me try to do some carving. Yeah, why not on this one, right? Okay. Alright. So this is not the densest of wood, but it's also not the lightest. Alright, well, it's not dense at all, actually. It doesn't feel dense. So we're getting actually some pretty beautiful curls from there. Now with nylox, or any carving implement like this, for example, what you want is you actually want to mirror the guy. Alright, the edge tends to last a little bit longer if you do mirror the guy. That's beautiful. Some really nice curls there. That will definitely start a fire. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna try to do some notching as well. I think this must be the one that I used the last time for something else. Okay, so let's talk about notching. Okay, so I'm gonna make a notch here. Okay, went too far. Alright, got a notch there. You know, if you want to make a can hook, well, you need it to angle upwards. If you're trying to make a trap, a snare, you can also, you definitely need to use notching for that. Alright, so it fares pretty well doing carving. Yeah, no problems. Alright, it's not too bad, I dare say so myself. Okay, if you want to do pull cuts, let me just angle this up. If you want to do pull cuts, this is generally how I do it. I put it up against the chest, I put what I need to cut right there, and my thumb actually pushes the blade, the spine of the blade. Alright, so what happens is if it flies, you know, it's not going to hit anyone unless someone's right up in your face, in which case it'd be a lesson to them about personal space. I'm just kidding, be safe. Alright, so that was a pull cut, sorry, and it allows you to, while really controlled, just like cut a piece of wood off, make it a little bit shorter. Right there, see, very nice clean cut. You could even do it on something a little bit bigger. This is pretty dry. Yeah. Something like this. So what you do is you just start out on one side and then pull it back out, and you go around the whole piece of wood. In which case, oh yeah, need to go a little bit more. Alright, comes right off. Looks like a big ass pencil. So, there you guys have it. While it's not a very long or elaborate video, just wanted to show you guys what this knife is capable of. Talk a little bit about the steel, talk a little bit about the knife. So far the handle's amazing, it's really comfortable. You can grip this and use it all day. What I do find myself doing sometimes is I'll just hold it at the top here. Of course, don't grip your index finger all the way down, okay? If not, you'll cut yourself. So this allows me to just kind of choke up, not really in a safe manner, which, you know, might go on to tell that I would have liked a choil, but then it wouldn't be a very tactical knife anymore, which is what this knife was actually intended for. A little bit of a tactical utility blade. Yeah, but I can still do that. I can still grip it all the way in the front here. You can see that's where the edge is. Of course, if you're wearing gloves, it's a lot safer, and I can actually get up and close with this blade. It's just a nice size. It's not too big, it's not too small. I cannot do clearing with this. Again, I must reiterate that. I can't do heavy chopping with it. Some light chopping is fine, but nothing past that. Other than that, it's a fantastic, it's a phenomenal blade. I've been carrying this with me a lot. I'm gonna continue carrying it with me, and that's just an amazing knife. Yeah, you can see the glint there now, can't you? Hey guys, so it's been a couple days since I got back from that trip, and this is here the knife. As we can still see, the edge is still pretty darn mirror. Now the camera's not gonna be able to pick this up, but I've got some nice close-up shots of it. The edge has a little bit of staining right about here, and a little bit of what I believe to be a spot of sap. So let's just see how the edge cuts. I don't have a lot of test media here in the at home. Everything's basically in the shop. So this is the softest paper that I could get. Let's try it out, alright? Alright, so snagging there and there. That's alright. Okay, snag there. Alright, I think that part's not. Okay. So yeah, it is snagging here and there. And it's not much of a surprise. I mean, this is an edge stable steel, but it's not ultra high edge retention. It's really easy to maintain. So let's try put it on a strap. And again, I'm at home here. I don't have all my gear with me. This is, I believe this is Venev 1 micron. Venev is that Russian diamond stropping compound company, or a diamond company basically. I would have loved to have my Jendi here with me, but I didn't bring it. Jendi is more expensive, but it does perform a lot better than Venev. But Venev does get the job done, so that's what's important. Sorry about the ding, guys. Getting some messages, not sure from who. Alright, so I'm not gonna do any proper like counts or passes or anything. I'm not counting on anything. I just want to try to bring the edge back a little. Alright, yeah, I was gonna clean the knife with alcohol, and I forgot to do that test, but oh well, it's a bit too late for that. Okay. So the stain, there's still a little bit of staining up here. Not a whole lot. It's nice and clean down here. A bit on this side. But the edge seems pretty clear of any corrosion. So let's try it out. Oh wow. Oh, okay, hung up there a bit. But I'm just gonna try to do that slowly again. Alright, so I hung up here and here. So that's a huge improvement of you know, what it was when we just unsheathed it. Yeah, I would have really preferred to have my my Gen D compounds with me. But you know, we work with what we have. Right? I didn't want to have to wait until we get to the shop for me to do this anyway. But I mean, this guy is still sharp. It still feels like a laser blade. With some, you know, hang-ups here and there, no doubt, but it's still, look at that. Making ribbons here. Anyway, all in all, I have nothing but great things to say about this knife. I love it. The edge retention is very, very pleasing. The toughness is, of course, also going to be very pleasing. Love the ergonomics on this guy. Despite not being a stainless steel, alright, this is 12.8 before heat treat. I'm not sure which one is correct. It's either 13 or 14% in order for it to be stainless, but it's about there, and this is definitely below that. Not by a whole lot, so I would have called this semi-stainless, but you saw it, right? It's just about stainless. It doesn't feel like it's gonna rust on me. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching. Any questions you guys have or any comments, just put it down in the comments. I'll catch you guys around. Stay safe, stay sharp.